Okay, I think we're live. I see the gang in the chat. I better pop the chat out, see what everyone's up to. Arrange the windows a little. Okay, mouse, behave. Do live chat, so I hopefully don't miss anything. Wow, there's a lot of chat. What happened? Justin and David and Luke and Fox, Musical Aviator. Justin is International Political Conference that's based in Washington, D.C. You're doing it online. Nice. Oh, I see everyone saying Bob Hawke just died. Ah, that's too bad. He would have liked to have lived to have seen Liberals get smashed on the weekend. Okay, I see. Look, a Bob Hawke. Yeah, he's a bit of a beer drinker. Oh yeah, Brett, everyone's talking about Hawkey. Wow, okay. We do have to think of a Hawkey cocktail. Okay. Oh, there are definitely beer cocktails. They're just gross. I mean, I don't like beer. I just don't like beer. So, Shirazi, you're saying you don't have sound. Does anyone else have sound? I get this weird thing I got on Tuesday night that when I look on the YouTube page, it's just black, so I can't see it. Hey, Charlie and Tendai. So many people say hello to you. Yeah, Aussie Gun Bunny. Surprised Hawkey's liver didn't pack in many years ago. Well, he did stop drinking for 10 or 15 years to recover from what a heavy drinker he was in the 70s. Sorry, everyone going, I've got sound. Troy goes, oh wait, my end, I switched off the speakers. I only laugh because that's the sort of shit I would do. CrossFitter, when I'm going to start live stream, probably on Saturday at 7. Why did I say Saturday? Of course it's Saturday. 7, probably about 70. Yeah, I don't think a Hawkey cocktail would be very subtle. Everyone just thinks beer. And I know there are some very traditional beer cocktails. The Boilermaker is the most obvious. That's like whiskey and beer. But I just fucking hate beer, so I'm not making a beer cocktail. I'm not doing shit I just don't like. I was thinking, we want to devise, well, we definitely have to have a Bob Hawke cocktail. Maybe tonight, seeing the news is just broken that Hawkey died, try and think of something union themed or prime ministry themed. So I got this book. This has so many things. I'm going to skip over the gin because I'm not that big on gin. See, okay, I open the page. There's a cocktail called a Black Cossack, which is vodka and Guinness. There are some weird ones in here. The Balalaika, well, that's nice and simple. And I like those things, vodka, Cointreau, and lemon juice. That's like a sidecar, except the sidecar's brandy, Cointreau, and lemon juice. That's an interesting one. Aussie Gun Bunny, a shandy would technically be a cocktail. You are right. I saw a really weird and gross one in here. I want to find it for you. White Russian, or as the dude calls them, a Caucasian. Where was it? I saw it in here. A cooch. Here's one called a cooch. A cooch bahar, which is chili or pepper vodka and tomato juice. So that's just, what's that? A Bloody Mary, a spicy Bloody Mary. Zarina, vodka, apple brandy, vermouth, and bitters. That sounds pretty good. Bailey's Comet, vodka and Bailey's. This is the vodka section of the book. Fox, look, technically rum and Coke is kind of a cocktail. Luke, I have to admit, I did actually have one bowl of the unicorn Fruit Loops. Oh yeah, Bloody Mary's trash, man, tits. Absolutely. Definitely, technically a screwdriver's a cocktail. Vodka and orange juice. What the fuck? A Hammer Horror. Use the best vanilla ice cream you can find. preferably one that's made with whole egg and real vanilla for extra richness. That's vodka, Kahlua, and vanilla ice cream. Yeah. I'm trying to find, there was a super gross one I saw here. I think I'm missing it. I was thinking of political ones for the election. Oh, you want to? Okay, I'm going to show you. They're just here. It's not just unicorn Fruit Loops. It's a stupidly big box. Look at that. As the saying goes, I'm in awe of the size of this bloke. What a unit. That's like 1.3 kilograms. That's like twice the size of a normal large box. So I couldn't resist. The Coles near me, there's a section like they were pretending they were Costco and doing huge serves. Like they had that and a 3 kilogram thing of spaghetti and just all these big mixes of cake mixing and stuff that were like, this is really weird. An Aussie brony would be a Brumby. Milk my mantids. Touch it and catch the gay. I'm not scared. The gay can be everywhere. I just saw you said Milk my mantids. Best cocktails are the ones you don't pay for. That is pretty good. Look, I found there's a green one here, the Green Dragon, which is just vodka and chartreuse. That could be one, like if the greens would, particularly a big one for the greens would be if they knock off Josh Frydenberg in Kooyong. That would be awesome. See, I'm not totally sold on the greens. I don't hate them. I'm not totally sold on them. But their candidate in Kooyong is particularly good. Julian Burnside, a human rights lawyer, he's great. He's a very good candidate. Sorry, one called the Black Hawk, which is vodka, creme de mure, and lime juice. Oh, that's blackberry. I was thinking, what's creme de mure? I've heard of that. That's a blackberry liqueur. So hence a Black Hawk, because and so I guess you do that in shots, and you'd be doing Black Hawk down. Where is it? I've got. I don't want to get this recipe wrong because I found one and it was super gross in my opinion. A salty dog. That sounds weird, and it's just vodka and grapefruit juice. Oh, and you're supposed to salt the rim of the glass. Okay. Wondering why that was called a salty dog. That's weird. Heretic, Pizza Burger has taught you how hedonistic you Americans truly are. Oh, yeah, no. Music I've ever seen, Golden Gay Time crumbs. I've got some in the cupboard because it was in the supermarket one time, and I don't know, they hadn't been selling well. So they're in big clearance, like they were selling them for 50 cents. I think they were like $3 or $4 to start with. So I got a bunch of them. We haven't actually gotten through it all yet. Oh, this is the one I was looking for. Like the name alone is great. This cocktail is called a bull shot, and it's vodka, cold beef consomme, and it's again 2 measures of vodka and 4 measures of this beef broth. So twice as much beef broth as vodka, then some lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, dashes of Tabasco would make it worse, a pinch of celery salt and pinch of cayenne pepper. That sounds absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. Bloody beef broth with, oh my God, no. Oh no. I'm having so much trouble with that. So yeah, maybe I'll make a Green Dragon if the Greens win a surprise seat. Yeah, that's basically it, Shrazi. It's like vodka and Bovril, basically. Green Dragon, which is just Stolichnya. Well, I don't know why they're saying Stolichnya. It's not like that's a particularly good vodka. And green chartreuse. Kev, how you doing, buddy? Hey, you still want to join in on the live stream for the Australian election? in a mere less than 48 hours from now. So what's this? We've got a green dragon and a blue shark. Oh, that sounds dangerous. That's vodka, tequila, and blue curacao. That sounds quite dangerous, doesn't it? Fox, that's a fun one. For a major LNP loss, champagne and lemon juice. Mystery 9, hey there. Okay, so we'll have to, well, we've worked it out before. You just got to work out what your time is. I'm going to be starting 7 p.m. here, which is just under 47 hours from now. Oh, it's an interesting bit of trivia. For this election, early voting and postal voting has proved so popular. It's going to be a record number of early votes and postal votes. And there was actually a warning that depending how the count goes, the large number of early votes might mean we can't actually call a result on Saturday night. If the voting is close, it might not be possible to call a result on Saturday night. Mind you, if there's a really big swing to Labor, they'll probably confidently call it. Fox, yes, I got the thing with the lemonade. Sorry, champagne and lemon juice. Champagne for their champagne tastes, and the lemon because they'll be sour about. Or something bitter. Golden Gaytime Cocktail. Musical Aviator. That's Bailey's, Tia Maria, Hershey sauce, and Golden Gay. Oh, dude. Oh, I could do like rim the glass with some chocolate and then dip it in the Gaytime crumbs. That would be good. Oh, Justin, do the Liberals still have someone who has problems with the constitutional thing about dual citizenship? Oh, no. Liberal candidate of McEwen. Are they likely to win? Luke, I'll be attending a polling booth on Saturday. Yeah, Tim, that was the big topic. It happened apparently. Apparently, the news broke just before I went live that Hawkeye died. Oh, Kevin. Okay, I'm sure you've heard of an Australian dessert confectionery ice cream treat called a Golden Gaytime, and it's basically ice cream, like caramel ice cream, with biscuit crumbs on it. Hang on, I'll show you. Where is it? I don't think they even sell these anymore because I don't think they sold that well. I got them on. You can get a little tin that's just Gaytime crumbs to like put it on your ice cream. So it's hard to have a Gaytime on your own. Musically Aviator, there's some good bitter. I've made bitter cocktails before for political people. I'm trying to get some inspiration, like use something in here as a starting point. I'll definitely have a green one if the greens get any big results. And Bacardi got white rum, lime, and grenadine. Yeah, that's barely a cocktail. But again, yeah, there's some of these tiki ones you get like a popular one like Cuba Libre, which is just rum and coke with some lime juice in it. And mind you, the lime juice makes a difference. Lime juice in a drink is very good. So many of these drinks in this one have cream or coconut cream in it. Wow, what the heck? A Tom and Jerry. It's a cold weather drink. So you've got to make a batter, and they've got a recipe here for batter. So you have eggs. Separate eggs, beat the whites into stiff peaks, adding sugar with bicarbonate. Mix the yolks separately with the rum, the rest of the sugar and spices, and fold in the whites with a metal spoon. And then in a drink, you have dark rum, brandy, and boiling milk. And then you put this mixture on the top of it. That sounds very laborious. Kev, does vodka and lemonade count as a cocktail? Technically, yes. If you want to be super fancy, just cut a slice of lemon and stick it on the side. Then it's definitely a cocktail. Fox, mint julep or a grasshopper fruit. Now I think I'm going to try. There was this one here. I'm going to use it as a starting point anyway. I have some different stuff. I have some herbal liqueurs, which sound like a good match for the greens. And this base one is just vodka and green chartreuse. I might do vodka, chartreuse, and the herb liqueur, green herb liqueur that I've got. Sorry, Heretic. Pete the Whites is good advice in general. That's racist. Shirazi, Pat Robertson, notorious, weird, loony, far-right Christian evangelist, has said Alabama's abortion laws are wrong. In what way does he think they're wrong? Does he think they don't go far enough? Just hearing him say they're wrong doesn't give me any confidence. Ooh, Mary Pickford. White rum, pineapple juice, green tea. I've got to try and think of you definitely got to think some from there. I think definitely something bitter for one of them, because whoever loses is going to be bitter. Blue Hawaiian, what's that? Blue Curacao, coconut cream, rum, and pineapple juice. This is the ever popular one for people. The zombie. Luke, you don't have to apologize if things aren't great, mate. You've got a woman next door giving you anxiety. Well, dude, that's not something you have to apologize for. If that's a legitimate reaction to someone fucking stressing you out, man, it's not something you have to apologize for. Egg white genocide, Kevin. Yeah. Well, I mean, God, now that makes me think of is egging Nazis and milkshaking the fash as well. It's just, it's the degree to which you can upset these extreme right-winger fucking white supremacist fuckheads. I think just hover around them holding a strawberry milkshake now, and they're going to start to get really antsy. Oh, well, musically, it's actually, Pat Robertson's thing is don't punish women for miscarriage. See, the reason these anti-abortion lot usually throw miscarriage into the thing is because they always accuse women who have miscarriages of deliberately inducing them. But wow, even that's a bridge too far for Pat Robertson. I'm mildly amazed. Luke, this woman's just moved to and talks about stabbing people all the time. Dude, you feeling stressed by that is no reflection on you. Kevin, wasn't it great? The milkshaking's in the UK because it's like, I don't think the first guy didn't plan it. Like he had, was the first one Tommy Robinson was up in that dude's face, and he just ended up going like, fuck off and throwing the milkshake at him. And it just caught on. I love it when things catch people's imagination. But yes, good old sad fuck of ass hats, who also got the kippers thrown at him for being a UKipper. Mark, do I think election's going to be close? It might be, and it might not be. I honestly do not trust any of the media reports. I think it's in their interest to generate tension, anxiety, conflict. If all objective measurements pointed to a really strong result one way or the other, there'd be no mileage in that for the media. But if they go, oh, it's going to be close, could be anyone, well, could be anyone, it's clickbait. It could, look, I'm not going to try and predict what happens in the election. The odds are heavily stacked against the government retaining office, like heavily stacked against them. A whole bunch of unlikely things have to go in their way. Not one thing, like about half a dozen unlikely things have to go the government's way. And it is just, it's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. There's an incredibly high likelihood of a Labor win. I'm still hopeful of a really convincing win, but we will see. Oh, that was a funny thing. The what do you call it? The bookies. They'd been reporting for ages really strong odds in favour of Labor, like almost even money on Labor, and much longer odds against the Liberals. But one of the big betting houses started paying out Labor bets. They said, oh no, everyone's betting Labor. We're just convinced they're right, so we're paying them out early. Now they're doing that to get publicity. They're buying publicity by doing that, which is quite clever. But we shall see. Radis Scorpion, hello. Mark, what do I think? Negative gearing should be fucked right off. Nobody on the motherfucking planet should get tax breaks for owning multiple properties, okay? I'm fucking sick of asset hoarding. It's just indulgences from the rich that fuck over the less well off. It's as simple as that. If you've got so much money, you want to invest in properties and go for it, but you shouldn't get tax breaks as well. If it's capitalism, it's capitalism. Oh, Mark, the franking credits, there is no reasonable observer who thinks the bullshit that John Howard put in is right. The original idea that if someone was getting dividends from shares and the company had already paid tax pre those dividends, then or don't tax that money twice. I still think that's bullshit, but well and good. But then Howard just extended it to this ridiculous vote buying bullshit of giving people who already have millions of dollars in tax-free credits, millions of dollars in tax-free investments, giving them tens of thousands of dollars in bonus and phrasing it like it's a tax return, but it's money that's, it's basically giving the people who least need it huge piles of free money. Like it's cost billions of dollars. No one else in the world does it. It's fucking ridiculous. And the way the libs talk about it is complete fucking lies. Kev, yes, who are the 5 candidates want us to get fucked at the election? We should have a hit list, I think. Absolute top of the list is Peter Dutton. Second is Tony Abbott, just barely behind it. Who else could we put in the top 5? Well, Josh Frydenberg in Kooyong might get knocked off by a Green, and I think that will be the first time the Liberals ever lost that seat, so that would be a big one. And Frydenberg's a fuckwit too. And I think even in my local seat, which Labor has never won, they might win that one. So that would be one of my top 5. Who would get the coveted 5th spot? The one I most want to see knocked off. Yeah, Justin, Kevin Andrews, but is he at all likely? There's no point wishing for someone to get knocked off that doesn't stand a chance of getting knocked off. If Kevin Andrews gets knocked off, I would have a big celebration. Like, you know, who's another one? Dickhead in Queensland, George Christensen. He'd be a big one. The fifth position will be a difficult one. Like, Christensen doesn't have a big margin and he could get knocked off. Shirazi, Senate doesn't count. And yes, Anning's almost definitely gone. CrossFitters. I really want Scummo to suffer a very inglorious defeat. Who else is someone high profile in the coalition who stands a chance of losing their seat? And it would be super funny if they did. Yeah, it's the coveted fifth position. So I'll definitely do, you know, finish my drink. I think my finish my drinks moment would be those top couple of people if they lose their seat. And I think if the swing to Labor exceeds 5%, if there's a uniform swing to Labor of 5%, that will be absolutely devastating for the coalition. Justin, who's Z in the ACT? I'm not familiar with that. Brett, who's Sarah Henderson? I don't even know who that is. Yeah, sorry, like heretic. Local politics. Only die-hard local politics people are going to know all these names. Luke, you raised some good points, and I back all those things. New Start or unemployment benefits should increase. Sickness benefits, general welfare payments should increase. And some more help for the homeless. That would also be good. And yes, the cashless welfare card is evil fucking class warfare and needs to be nuked. It's just evil and humiliating. You know, I hope so, Mark. The cashless welfare card is evil, fucking humiliating class warfare. It's fucked. I've heard people mention Karangamite as one that might go, but yeah, I don't know. See, I only want to celebrate for ones that I know who I really dislike, and I don't even know who Sarah Henderson is. So yeah, I can't have a drink every time the Liberals lose a seat, because that's probably alcohol poisoning there. Because I still warrant they're going to lose a lot of seats. Brett, is anyone going to vote for Max Dix? The independent. I saw him. Don't be a dick. Vote for one. Yes. Oh, Charlie. God, Centrelink put you on the cashless debit card. Yeah, no, that shit is fucked. I honestly, this whole government policy of attacking and victimizing the people in society who are already the most marginalized is just, it's just fucking evil as fuck. That is actually good question, Musical Aviator. What do I think of the people who hand out how to vote cards at the polling place? Are they good, bad, useless, persuasive to dotty-roll people? I mean, I have to assume they're overwhelmingly useless. That's a good one, Larry. Karangamite sounds like an off-brand Vegemite knockoff. Okay, I'm going to quickly look up. Is that really his name? Yep, vote one Max Dix. He's got a Facebook page. I'm going to quickly look him up and see what his Facebook page says. He's a youngish bloke by the looks of him. Looks like he might be under 30, actually. It's hard to tell. He is suffering the male curse of a prematurely receding hairline. Where is he? I'd like to give everyone last chance to meet me before the election. Say hello, ask a few questions, shake a hand. Simply to confirm, I'm not the most elaborate prank ever played on Victorians. Max Dix. There you go. he's even got the memes happening. He's got the bit from Monty Python's Life of Brian when the biggest dickest bit. Is it Caesar or is he another Roman? And Michael Palin plays him and goes, "Do you find it funny when I say biggest dickus?" And he's just captioned it with, "Do you find it funny when I say the name Max Dix?" And that's absolutely perfect. I really like that. Yep, David, Abbott, Dutton and Frydenberg are at the top of my list. And the local Liberal member where I live, he's on there too, just because it would be fun. It's Pontius Pilate. Thanks, Kev. It's that long since I've watched it, I forgot. I think it's not Caesar, is it? No. Yes, Fox of Fake Max Dix is a bit like the D's Nuts guy running. Oh my God, David, could you imagine a candidate called Mike Hunt and how the media, the broadcast media, would try to handle it? Now, because I've said receding hairlines here, Luke, you're 32, hairlines back a bit. I mean, obviously mine back a bit, but I'm past 50, so that's okay. I think I had my first, I noticed grey hairs when I was about 27. If I didn't, well, you can see that color on my beard. That's probably what all my hair is. I haven't let my hair grow out for ages. Shocking secret. It's colored, but yes. Yes, sure, Aussie. We could have Wayne Kerr with Mike Hunt. Ed Balls. Yes, that is a good one, definitely. Oh, for reals. I'm sure most of you know what a spoonerism is. That's when you mix up the first letters in words, like particularly in names, like Kevin Logan, Levin Kogan, David Hill, Havard Dill. I, no word of a lie, went to school with a girl called Kerry Hunt. So the spoonerism of her name was Harry Cunt. And she had a sister called Mary, which is not much better. She was Harry Munt. Good Lord. Justin Underwood. Yes. If you had your name, everyone would a politician with the surname Underwood. People wouldn't be able to stop making Frank Underwood references. House of Cards stuff. Here's a bit of trivia. Okay, I guess most people probably know the American series House of Cards is a remake of British series House of Cards. Frank Underwood in the US version, and his name was Francis Urquhart in the original British version. Now, here's the funny thing. It was a novel. Someone wrote a novel, House of Cards, and the BBC turned it into a miniseries. Again, classic. Like, how many episodes of the American House of Cards are there? Like 60 or something. There were 3 seasons of the British House of Cards, and it was like 3 or 4 episodes in each season. They were just like a mini series. But it was a novel, and in the novel, Francis Urquhart is killed at the end of the book, to punish him for his sins. And then the BBC made a series from it. And I think they didn't even tell the author. They decided to keep Francis Urquhart alive because they saw the possibility of spin-off. And it was a very popular show. It was a very, very good show. And so they said, yeah, we want to make more. And the guy said, okay, I'll write a sequel. Even though he finished his first one with the character dying, he did a sequel where he wasn't dead. So it's da, 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 and he killed him at the end of the sequels. Like, his basic thing was he needs to die because he's bad. And the BBC made a series of the second one, and they didn't kill him again. And the guy's going, right, fuck you guys. And they went, oh, how about a third one? And he said, sure, okay, why not? And he wrote a third novel. And this time he's going, oh, I'm so sick of them not going along with me killing him. So he didn't kill him at the end of the third one. And then the BBC made a series of the third one, and they killed him at the end of it. They were just being dicks. They were literally just being dicks. He killed him twice, and the BBC said, no, he's going to live both these times. So the third time he goes, okay, I'll stop killing him. And the BBC said, no, we decided to kill him now. Mark, having a crime problem in your area near Deer Park. It's probably the same people. I used to live that way. And this is the weirdest thing. Like, I had a house broken into twice. And my fucking car broken into once. The weirdest thing is, like, it's not always exactly the same people, but you hear about, like, okay, if you're in a crime-ridden neighborhood, you hear about however many dozens of burglaries or muggings, or what is much rarer in Australia, armed robberies and whatnot. And you think, well, there's a lot of criminals running, and there are a lot of criminals running. It's weird how often they're the same group of people. Like, you hear about 100 crimes, and of course it's reasonable to think, wow, there was 100 burglars out there, and there's not. If there's 100 burglaries, there's probably 10 burglars, if not less. And the same deal with other forms of robbery. It's people don't commit one crime. Their life tends to revolve around crime. So they commit a shit ton. I mean, God, I knew this guy where I went to college. There was a prison. This was in Bathurst, West. I keep always explain this. It's west of Sydney. It's across the mountains west of Sydney. There's also a prison in Bathurst. And when we were students, sometimes we would visit people there. And there's this guy I used to visit, and as a teenager, he's a mess up guy. And anyway, he got into heroin, got into armed robberies to support that. And he ended up getting convicted of 12 armed robberies. And these were like banks. It's when they still used to rob banks. And when he told me he got convicted of 12 armed robberies, he said, it's not actually that bad because I did more than 20. So, and good evening, Safa and Miss Foxification, by the way. Milk Alaska. You're hilarious. Yeah, look, Mark, I don't blame you that you're worried if there's a lot of criminal activity. I mean, I used to live in St Kilda, and you hear sirens all the time. And occasionally the Polair, the helicopter with the spotlight, it wasn't uncommon to see it trying to follow someone. Oh my God, it was freaky the night the spotlight stayed on my house for a couple of minutes. We're inside, and suddenly the yard lights up. I'm like, what the fuck? And we're like, that's Polair. Oh God, oh my God. He's not in our yard, is he? I don't think he was. I think they were just looking for him. But it was the spotlight probably only stayed on our house for a couple of seconds, but that lived for a couple of minutes. Oh, Mark, I lived all over in Footscray and Sunshine. My in-laws were in Deer Park, so I spent a bit of time out there. So yeah. Milt, you down on us for not having an abstract opera house. We have some very strange abstract street art, though, like public art, sculptures and whatnot. Yeah, Brett, you're probably right. There's probably a bunch of shit going down in Geelong too. What am I saying? Probably you live there, you know it. You hear helicopters. Oh my God, it's so quiet, like out Caulfield Way where I moved to. It's only a couple suburbs away from like East St Kilda where I was living, but it's so quiet here. Which is not to say, I mean, you know, you get burglaries here. Literally next door, they had the old home invasion. Someone broke in while they were home. And we've seen signs that showed someone's been climbing fences, whether they were actually doing crimes or whether they're scoping places out. But yeah. Yes, Luke, that's our big tourist attraction. A bridge that trucks and buses keep hitting because it's a low clearance bridge and there are all these warnings. And still, one just like a week or two ago did it. Oh, Safa, well, I will be, yes, I'll be proxying for Anthony Green on Saturday. I'll be, I'll probably have the ABC 24 live stream so I can track while I do. I love that. You're in a golden age of alt-right douche nozzles getting milked. Oh my God, what's the story starting to break this week? That ridiculous, like some guy ran a crowdfunding thing to pay for the war with Mexico, and absurdly, apparently raised some tens of millions of dollars. And this guy's going all these things. This is how you know it's not a scam. I was thinking, anyone who gives money to this, well, besides being a piece of shit, is really fucking stupid. And the stories started to break this week that the person behind this crowdfunding thing, who swore blind they weren't a scammer, seems to be buying $1 million yachts and whatnot. I mean, I'll wait for confirmation on that before I go. Oh, here, Milk. I have to admit, every time these ultra-right wingers get ripped off by someone preying on their bigotry, I just fucking laugh. I mean, this is like whether it was, I'm going to make a documentary exposing feminism. Please fund it. And guys take in tens of thousands of dollars and then just fucking spend. It happens all the time. In fact, I mean, you want OG. There was the young woman who ran one, and she said, help me, I lost my job and she's black, and she posted this thing saying, I lost my job and got thrown out of home for being a Trump supporter. Now I'm living on the streets. There's no free speech in this country. No one respects me as a black woman Trump supporter. And she ginned up, I think it was in the tens of thousands of dollars in donations. And then she cashed out and went, ha ha, fuck you all, you fell for it. I was like, whoa. Well, I mean, like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's a straight up crime. But wow, that's really going for it. Look, I got free KFC for you by saying it's from head office. That's not bad. What was the other one? Oh my God, this was just a fun one with, honestly, I reckon, no victims. A dude not only conned his way into a free show, it was with a band, a fairly big band. I don't remember who it was. They were playing in the Cherry Bar in AC/DC Lane. And he not only conned his way in for free, but backstage, because he edited the Wikipedia page for the band to have one of the key members have the same surname as him. And he put himself into theirs, like, and brother Mike helped with the recording of this. And he's saying, oh yeah, I'm the bass player's brother. And they're going, no, you're not. He goes, well, look, honestly, here's my ID. And the guys on the door went, okay, and then he backstage. And he got backstage and the band are like, who are you? And he goes, okay, I'll tell you the truth. What I've done is this. And when he told them they that he changed their Wikipedia page to say he was their brother, they fucking cracked up and said, you're a legend. Yes, sorry, everyone, Albie and Dr. Obama, yes, we have if Bob Hawke had died a little bit earlier, I would have themed the thing after him, but I think it was announced just before I went live. Yes, Milked, it's sad we're both white. But you want shysters, like those people who get jobs just being mouthpieces. Like I'm a minority, whether it's a black man, a black woman, a white woman, an Asian man or woman, but I'm super pro-Trump, which proves Trump's not racist, and they get endless mileage out of it. They go on Fox News, they get book deals, they make all this money just by saying things. Mark, no, I've not watched any bearing videos, not even the ones about me. The very first time he did it, I started watching, and I think he was going on for about 15 minutes for a 5-minute video of mine, and 30 to 60 seconds in, I was like, oh, motherfucker, if you can't get to the point, fuck off. And yeah, it just wasn't worth watching. But yes, the weird and shameless lies about the crimes in Melbourne is super weird. That's them, the guys who want to do that Sarkeesian doco, Arini and Owen. And they ended up hating each other, didn't they? Didn't they like get into huge fights with each other and arguments over the money? So I haven't got any more mail, but I still have that hate mail that I never finished reading. Shrazi, is he all right? I don't even know if Bearing still makes videos. I haven't been paying attention. I haven't heard anything about him for a long time. So, I mean, of course, a lot of the hate speech crowd all got, basically demonetized and deplatformed. I have no idea if it happened to him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess he's still making videos. Here's the thing. There's look, if all I wanted was attention, I mean, I just do this for fun. If all I wanted was attention, I'd red pill myself. I'd go, you know what? I was wrong all along. Feminists are evil. And then I'd solicit money from people, and I'd make a shit ton of money. Dr. Obama, my honest predictions, it's almost definite Labor are going to win. And I'm quite hopeful that they'll win convincingly. Milked. Harriet and Splimby documented the whole Arini Owen saga on a second channel. Oh, H Bomber guy. Yeah, no. I'm aware of H Bomber guy. I know he's quite big, isn't he? Yeah, you're right, Miss Foxcation. Half of YouTube business model is shitty edgelords getting attention. I could do that. Turn on super chats. Let's go. You know what I did actually do, but I'm not doing anything with it. I actually finally set up a Patreon thing because they were going to change it so it was a really shitty deal. Like the creators got far less, but anyone who was already on it still had the original deal. But anyone who signed on after, and it's sometime soon, or the date may have passed already, the deal wasn't going to be as good. So I set one up just so I could be there on the original thing. I haven't promoted it or anything because I don't have any need to do it really. I mean, my model would be honestly Blind Boy from the Rubber Bandits, who I always talk about, but he supports himself through Patreon, and he says on the podcast, like, look, okay, I do the podcast for free. There's nothing special if you're a patron, but if you like what I do and you feel like supporting me, you think, oh, if I met you in person, you know, I'd buy you a coffee or a pint, or in my case, a cocktail, and then do that. And you don't have to. But yeah, so I think if and when I really push that, I would follow his model. Justin, do I wish I could quit my day job and live at YouTube? That's a yes-no thing. In many ways, it'd be nice. But when you see the levels of stress induced in people who are making YouTube their full-time job, and things keep changing and the algorithm keeps changing, and they feel like they can never take a break and they're working 80 to 100-hour weeks and they're stressed and burnt out. So it's almost one of those careful what you wish for things. So yeah. Oh, I like that, La Heretic. Do a Patreon knockoff and call it Proletariat. What was very interesting is like, okay, Patreon has investors, and the reason they keep trying to change things is they have investors. Investors say, we want to make more money. And it's like the way the Patreon model guaranteed them a certain income. And the investor said, yeah, but we want the returns to grow and accelerate. So they have to sort of fuck them over. And it's just like, if you could get rid of that greed factor and just go, oh, look, I build a business that's got sort of a guaranteed turnover. It's just really steady. And you don't have this thing of investors saying, no, it has to grow. I want more money. I don't want a steady stream of money. I want a huge growth. And Patreon's probably going to kill itself, honestly. What? Sorry, so I just started talking about a bonk ban. Yeah, that was the thing after Barnaby Joyce caused all that trouble, wasn't it? But yes. Oh, God, Barnaby Joyce is busy trying to start a war between the National Party and the Liberal Party, and clearly thinks he should be the leader of the Nationals again, which is a fucking hilarious, destructive thing to do just before the election, because the Nationals are in trouble in quite a few seats because of challenges from conservative or centrist independents. Not so much from Labor. I don't know that they're going to lose anything to Labor, but in quite a few seats, they're in trouble from conservative or centrist independents who say, look, let's be honest, the Nationals do fuck all for us. And an increasing number of people in country areas are going, that's fucking true. The Nationals do nothing for us. And now Barnaby Joyce is doing this wrecker thing. I think people are just going to look at like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Why can't he act like a fucking adult? Holy shit, what is wrong with these people? But he's he's such a fucking unit, that guy. So it's really funny timing to, just before a precarious election, try to smash up the coalition. I think it's hilarious because it's just going to hurt the coalition, and I want to see them hurt. It's as simple as that. Sorry, I got to show you how many. A mulata, that sounds dodgy. What's in that? Light rum, creme de cacao. Yeah, that sounds really dodgy, actually. A Cuban creation of the 40s. Chocolate and lime flavors. I have white creme de cacao. I don't know. Brown creme de cacao. I'm not even sure that's very common. Ooh, Safa, that's a good question. Who's worse, Latham or Joyce? I'm with Shirazi. Latham. Latham just actively promotes racism, misogyny, and anti-science bullshit. Joyce is just a general nutter. Latham is far more spiteful and fucked up and evil. You know, like the Nationals, you're a Braves fan. What team is the Nationals? There are so many sporting teams in America, and I have so little interest in sport. I only know the really big ones. What I could do this. What's this? A captain's cocktail. It's white rum, Captain Morgan's rum, lime juice, sugar, and port. I've got some port there. I haven't had a port cocktail in a while. Might make that. Except I don't have any white rum. I have Kraken. It would be like Captain Kraken cocktail. Might make that my second half cocktail. An Emerald Star, speaking of green ones. What's this? White rum, Midori, apricot brandy, lime juice. I've got a bunch of green things. I don't need to get Midori or cream de menthe. Safa, port can be expensive. There's a huge spectrum with port. I'll show you. I haven't even drunk any of this for ages. Is this it? I got it on special. It was probably only about 20 bucks because there's only a tiny bit left. Maybe I should use it. This is McWilliams, which is an Australian bottler, a port that they say is blended with spirit. So this is port blended with whiskey. It's about 20% alcohol. Honestly, I can't taste the whiskey in it. It just tastes like port. And port's a nice sipping drink, actually. Charlie, Di Patoli port is $6. That sounds like you're an expert. Okay. Hey, Babo, you're a bit late catching up on the... Yes, that's the big news of the night, old Bobby Hawke. Okay, let's go. The White Sox are a baseball team, aren't they? See, because I feel like that's one of the big ones. I feel like I've heard of them. I feel like they're a baseball team. Is my limited knowledge paid off there? My God, what's this? This one has so many recipes in. A rompope. Rompope? It's like eggnog, milk, sugar, bicarb soda, cinnamon stick, egg yolks, and dark rum. Or you could just buy eggnog and add rum to it and not have that much trouble. Hey, Sarah. A Petite Fleur, rum and Cointreau and grapefruit juice. I don't have any grapefruit juice. This one has little bits of trivia in it, like when the Japanese melon liqueur Midori was launched in New York in 1978, the party was held at the fabled Studio 54 nightclub. John Travolta, who had just made Grease, was among the guests. There you go. It's Boston. That's it, the Boston White Sox. Yes, thanks, Musical Aviator. But is it a baseball team? Morning Joy. That looks dodgy. What the hell is that? Rum, grapefruit juice, and gin. Okay. What's that? Breakfast juice. Oh my God, what's wrong with these people? So it's mostly grapefruit juices, rum, gin, and grapefruit juice. This one keeps talking about morning drinks. Has anyone called me Uncle Angry? Probably. I think a few people have. Here's another green one. I get one for the greens. What's this? Rum, creme de menthe, and lime juice. Yeah, I don't have creme de menthe, but I do have a few green drinks there that I've infused, some herbal ones and a lime vodka I made. And then I put green food coloring in it just to make it really green. The white genocide socks. That's the are they the alt-right or are they SJWs? I don't know. Shirazi, that's a good one. Never call a Bostonite a Yankee. Okay. Good to know. Safi, you're on a VPN in Eastern Europe. Oh, Mark. Yeah, no. Look, without doubt, I could feasibly, legitimately be a grandpa. I'm going to be a great angry old man. That's good. I love that. People from Boston are all really white. I mean, nice. Oh, fucked up the joke. So white is Chicago and red is Boston. Oh, so is it the Chicago White Sox and the Boston Red Sox? Is that what we're saying? I did say I don't know a goddamn thing about sport. Preparado, Havana Badana. Oh my God, I've got to get this one liqueur, a banana liqueur. Apparently the popular one is called creme de banane because it's in a lot of these recipes, but I did actually find this cocktail bar in the city and been there a couple of times with Mrs. Angry, and they make really nice drinks. But they do this one, and it's basically just whiskey and this creme de banane, and it's fucking great. Like the banana liqueur takes the edge off the whiskey. It still basically tastes like whiskey, but the banana liqueur takes the edge off it. And there's just this little banana flavor in it as well, because whiskey's is quite strong flavor, and the banana liqueur is a much milder flavor, and it's fucking great. I've had a couple of them. Anything. Oh, milk, that's a good one. Baseball's such an American sport, stole it from Native Americans and never credited them. Is that a fact? Mark, yeah, it's interesting. I think Hawkeye hasn't been well for a number of years because he was very out of the public eye for a couple of years. Oh, I see musical area. Boston versus New York is Sydney versus Brisbane, state of origin. Okay, they have a real sporting rivalry. I get that. I get that. Hot buttered rum. So in the rums, here we go. Whiskey. I actually like whiskey cocktails. Maybe I'll make a whiskey cocktail. A Manhattan. Whiskey vermouth. Yeah. That's interesting. A Manhattan is rye whiskey and vermouth. A Rob Roy is Scotch and vermouth. Okay. A whiskey mac, a classic cold remedy, half and half Scotch and green ginger wine. I don't really like ginger, so this is my all-time favorite, the sour. This is whiskey and a sweetener, either sugar or sugar syrup, and lemon juice. And I like to have egg white in it as well, so it's frothy. Mark Hawkey was at the Labor launch, was he? Well, that's good for him that he got to go to the launch. I'm sure he would have liked to have seen the Liberals get smashed in the election, but yeah. Oh, Fox, I did try the Scotch finger one. For those who don't know, okay, there's a chocolate bars being teamed up with Arnott's biscuits here in Australia. Cookies, if you're an American. And a friend recommended the Scotch finger one as the best. Scotch finger biscuits are shortbread. And it was pretty good. Yeah, and they've got a whole bunch of Ice Fovo and Wagon Wheel, and they've got a salty ones like Jats crackers in it. Yes, I don't want to be eating too much chocolate. I don't need that much chocolate in my life. Oh, look, Ivan Milat. Who remembers Ivan Milat, Australia's most notorious serial killer, doing a whole bunch of life sentences for being convicted of 7 murders. And there's this dude, I saw it on Twitter today. There's this dude who's his nephew or something, who still sort of champions Ivan Milat, that he's innocent. It was actually a secret witch cult led by the Masons that did the murders. And it's just like, fucking what? And big surprise, this guy turns out to be a misogynist MRA and a racist as well. Like, it is super weird how the various forms of extreme right-wingers just all blend. The white supremacists, the misogynists, the bigots, they just all blend. I found it because I retweeted it on Twitter. His name is Alastair Shipsey. So Ivan Milat is a serial killer, is dying of cancer, is out of his Supermax thing and chained to a hospital bed, and he'll probably die soon, which would be cool. The ABC understands his nephew, Alastair Shipsey, phoned the Prince of Wales Hospital but was prevented from contacting his uncle, who's also showing signs of dementia. And then someone collected a few tweets from this Alastair Shipsey. He's a huge Fraser Anning supporter. Big fucking surprise, Nazi. He promotes the fucking pickup artist, rapist culture. And here's his quote, "Even the judges said they had no proof Ivan Milat murdered any of the victims," which is fucking ridiculous. The judges said nothing of the sort. You can't find someone guilty and say, well, there's not actually any evidence. It's absolutely fucking farcical. Even the judges said they had no proof Ivan Milat murdered any of the victims. It was a satanic group involved in the murders, and they know it. It's protected by the Masons. Ivan Milat deserves a retrial. So yeah, racist, Nazi-loving, misogynist, serial killer defender. What a fun guy. Really? He's just all kinds of fun. I like that, Shiraz. You saw that John Farnham was trending on Twitter, and when you looked at most of the tweets, well, why is Farnsey trending on Twitter? It's a self-feeding thing. Yes, Shirazi. Well, actually, two different killers inspired the Wolf Creek movies. Milat was one, and there was another one who kidnapped an English backpacking couple, and the woman escaped. So the Wolf Creek killer was inspired by both of them. So yes, it's all sorts of wild things. I agree with you, Miss Foxification. They just number them, don't name them. The fucking shitty killers. The cult that surrounds some killers is pretty fucking sick. Anyway, I was trying to wash all this out of my memory. Maybe make a cocktail for the second half of the show. Old-fashioned, a rusty nail, Scotch and Drambuie. A sea dog, Scotch Benedictine, and a millionaire. I think I made that in another stream, didn't I? It's bourbon, Cointreau, grenadine, and yeah, I did make that one. I definitely made that one. So I won't make that one again. A duck soup, a modern. Did I make the modern? I feel like I made the modern cocktail. It's full on Scotch, rum, absinthe. Orange bitters, lemon juice. Actually, Music Over, that is a good one. The Christchurch terrorist, the fuckwit without a name. That's right, no one knows his fucking name, which is fucking brilliant. It's just exactly how, wow, until you brought that up, that hadn't really sunk in with me. A mass killer whose name's not generally known. Oh yes, I see the talk about Eurovision. And yes, you remember Shirazi, I'm not so much the Eurovision tragic, it's Mrs. Angry. So while I'm doing the election live stream, she'll be in the next room watching TV, flipping between Eurovision and the election results, because she's also an election tragic like me. A plank walker, Scotch vermouth, and chartreuse. Holy fuck. That sounds dangerous. Scotch vermouth and chartreuse. And I have all those. Who thinks I should try that? That sounds super dangerous. Good pleasant dreams. Bourbon, blackberry liqueur, and peach schnapps. I don't have any blackberries. Oh yeah, Mr. 09, the guy's name was reported, but hasn't gone into general knowledge. Tendo, how badly do I think Britain will do in Eurovision? Really badly. Everyone hates Britain in Eurovision for some reason. They always do super, super badly. Misfoxification for the election results. I'll probably just get the ABC 24 live stream, and I'll tab between things and keep track of it, like have the chat up and the results. Mark, is there anything Donald Trump done positive in years in office? He smashed the hell out of the Republican Party, didn't he? That was astonishing. That was absolutely astonishing. Like, what were there were like 12 Republicans competing against him, and 12 establishment Republicans, and he just fucking smashed them. And he also smashed the smugness in the Democrats as well, for that matter. Clinton gave off too much of a vibe that she was owed the presidency, I think. So far, I'm not going to do any putting up like a live. I think I can share a window on my live feed, but I'm not going to do anything that could get me busted for copyright. So I won't be attempting to do any. What's a Rocky Mountain Canadian whiskey? Lever and put them in as well. I don't have those things. A Highland Morning, Scotch and Cointreau and juice. I don't have grapefruit juice, but I have some other juice. Mark, North Korea thing. No. The North Korea thing is fucking bullshit. Kim just lies. He just lied openly to previous and Kim Jong Un, Kim Jong Il, both just lied like, oh yeah, sure, no, let's have a treaty, and just fucking lied. And Trump did all this bluster of, hey, yeah, I've got a deal, and Kim's not keeping to any part of the deal. It's just fucking ridiculous, and not that anyone holds him accountable, but Trump just looks like a complete fucking fool for even meeting with Kim, because it gave Kim credibility. So a paddy is Irish whiskey and vermouth and bitters. I've got all those. I think I've still got Irish whiskey. I don't remember. Oh yeah, it's no way I drank all the Irish whiskey. It's still have some. Mark, when will the Korean War open again? That is a question. I think the people in South Korea are very nervous. I think, ooh, another one with cream, the Jamaica shake, bourbon, Jamaican rub, and heavy cream. Wow, I'm actually tempted. I don't have any cream. Tempted to try that though. The Ring of Kerry, Irish whiskey, Bailey's Irish cream, and Kahlua. Tequila. I do have some tequila. Margarita, cactus juice, tequila, Drambuie. Don't have any Drambuie. Oh my god! Look at this thing. Make a punch in a pineapple. Like get a whole pineapple and hollow it out, and then mix a tequila punch in there and spoon it out of the pineapple to serve it. Good God, a tequila milk drink. Yeah, you're right, Luke. By the time I pick a cocktail, I'll be over. Tequila, Kahlua, drinking cocoa or drinking chocolate, and milk. That is so fucking weird. Ooh, tequila and brandy. I've got some fruit apple pear brandy. Oh, it's a shooter. I don't know. I am getting a bit lost, I think. Maybe I should go back. And there was a vodka one I like the look of, I think. Rum creme de menthe. Lime juice. Waikiki Beach. Still in the rums. I think I want to go back to vodka. Vodka. There we go. Après-ski. I don't have that ingredient. This is the one like, you know, mix of the screwdriver with Southern Comfort and Harvey Wallbanger kit. This one has the recipe for, I think they call it a slow screw, which is like a screwdriver with Southern Comfort. Oh no, that's right. The most full-on amalgam is a slow, comfortable screw up against the wall. So it's vodka and orange, the screwdriver part, slow gin for the slow, Southern Comfort for the comfortable, and the Harvey Wallbanger, it's Galliano and orange juice. and you get a slow, comfortable screw up against the wall. There you go. Oh, wow. I didn't know that little bit of trivia, Miss Foxcation. I think North Korea has oil, 22nd largest reserve. Geez, that puts them at bloody risk of some liberation, doesn't it? Grape juice. One called the Cooch is a bit of a hoot. Menage a trois, vodka and cream. So many of these have cream in them. I don't have any cream. A sea breeze, which is vodka, cranberry, and grapefruit juice. So that's like a what's the one they always drank on Sex in the City, which is vodka and cranberry. Ugh. Pushkin's Punch, vodka, Grand Marnier, lime, bitters. A woo woo. That's such a great name. Vodka, schnapps, and cranberry. You make that. Oh, maybe I should test drive a Green Dragon. Vodka, chartreuse, and I might do a variation with a green herbal liqueur. Shazzy, you read Cosmo for the articles, never the sex tips. Growing up, my sisters would get magazines like Dolly and Cosmo, and I'd always read the advice columns because that's when they talked about dirty stuff, like Dolly Doctor or just the advice and sex tips in Cosmo. I would definitely sneak a look at my sisters' Cosmo and Cleo and see what dirty sex secrets I could find out. Right. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try this green one. I won't bother shaking it. Yeah, this says shake, but I'm just going to pour it into it. Milk, you're worried about war in North Korea. Worry about Iran. Because any kind of war action, bombing, or worse still, invasion would be a fucking disaster. Okay. Okay, so I'm just doing vodka, chartreuse, and my herbal liqueur. Okay, I need to clear the decks a little bit. Ugh. See, because I've got green vodka, that's lime vodka. Okay, and this is going to be all things green. Where's my chartreuse and what's this? Oh, that's the Jamesons. I do have Irish whiskey. Green chartreuse. Where's my... Oh, there it is, Coca. Coquelero. So 3 green drinks. Green chartreuse, green vodka, and green herbal liqueur. Here is space on the decks. I might want some lemon juice in this as well. So I'm just going to get lemon juice. Okay. Yeah, I need the measure. Okay. Mark, yeah, I lost some weight. I've lost about 10 kilos since the start of the year. Need to lose 20 or 30 more. So maybe by the end of the year, I'll have a dad bod for summer. The thing, I have to lose another 10, 20 kilos just to have a dad bod and not be obese. Oh, Miss Foxication, talking about conflict with Iran, Iran's not the problem. Really, truly insane ideologues in the US, and I'm not talking about Trump, because Trump doesn't seem to want an overseas conflict. That was one of his key things in the election, in fact. It's people like John Bolton and these old hardcore Republican ideologues who've been obsessing about bombing Iran for the last couple decades. Mark, what's my weight now? Too much. Far too much. But basically, by the start of this year, was the fattest I've ever been. So over my life on YouTube, which is over a decade, my weight has fluctuated by more than 20 kilos. Oh yeah, misfoxification. Yes, Iran used to be a partner of the US before the revolution. That's fucking depressing. Seeing old school Iran was such a great country. It's a great country still, but very opposed to the religious control that's been there for the last couple of decades. Yeah, that fucking poor, unfortunate part of the world that got caught up in the Cold War with Russia and the US using Iraq and Iran as their proxy pawns in the Cold War. See, it's very green. So this one's for the greens. So we'll see, Mark. We're about the same height, and I'm slightly more than you weight-wise. So yes, I need to lose at least another 20 kilos, preferably 30. Well, Shirazi, you are right about there was that period of the puppet, but before the US installed a puppet government, they were much better off. What's that taste like? That tastes good. I mean, there's no doubt that like there's nothing but alcohol in that. Like, it's quite common for cocktails to have something to cut the alcohol with, some sort of juice or sweetener. I had my sweetener there. I don't think I need it, but it's pretty deadly. Mark, I think that's right. 173 centimeters, something like that. Ooh, oh man, that's proper cocktail, and these waves of flavors. Because okay, chartreuse, that's the strongest flavor in there. This stuff is super strong. It's like a cousin of a fucking absinthe. They describe it. This is their suggested cocktails. One's just chartreuse on ice, a frappe. Put it in a balloon glass with lots of crushed ice. They're trying to say that's a cocktail. Just put this on some ice and that's a cocktail. No. Or a chartreuse tonic. 9 parts tonic to 1 part green chartreuse. I love this thing. It's a chartreuse, product manufactured from complete natural ingredients up to its very color. It's advised to be tasted on rocks. They do actually proclaim that green chartreuse is the only green liqueur that's not artificially colored. Mark, how do we gain so much weight? Don't know about you, buddy, but I gain it from being lazy and indulgent. Very little physical activity and being far too indulgent with the crap I eat. Safi, you can't gain weight. Don't fucking complain. This one is one I found recently. There's another green one. This is South American, a herbal liqueur, Cocalero, which I think comes from, inspired by the Cocaleros who passionately ply their ancient trade in the jungle regions of the Andes Mountains. 17 hand-selected South American botanicals are infused to craft this unique and curious spirit. Cocalero is best served ice cold with your favorite mixer. Actually, I've had this just like with lemonade on ice, and it's really fucking nice. This is really good. And yeah, this is just vodka infused with lime, and it's far darker green because I put green food coloring in it because I wanted it greener. Mark's my weight loss easy. I've been the most effective weight loss thing I've ever done, which I'm doing again. That'd be the 3rd time. Just need to be a bit disciplined after it, is light and easy, the pre-packaged food. Which works for me for a couple of reasons, because it's controlled portion sizes, so I don't overeat. It's super easy. You just eat what's there and nothing else. And it's really quite good food. Safa, how much was that green bottle? I do not remember. I got this from a specialist bottle shop. This is not very widely available. You'd have to go to a specialist to get that. Chartreuse, this is just like from Dan Murphy's. Most big bottle shops will have yellow or green chartreuse. Mark, you reckon I should do the keto diet? I am not convinced that the keto diet doesn't have bad side effects. But I'm not averse to trying it. But I'm going to stick with light and easy. Hopefully, keeps working for me, because that's calorie control, portion control. No real rocket science in there. Luke, you're taller and your scales only go up to 120. Yeah, but again, your additional height probably balances it out a bit. Oh, Bill, you lost weight by feeding on Tucker Carlson's massive ego. I think that would make you purge a bit, really. Oh, no, Fox of Fate. Probably the best for weight loss would be a diet made up almost exclusively of fresh veggies and some fruit. I'm just really undisciplined. Like, one of the really big reasons that light and easy works for me is there's no effort on my part, no thought on my part. It's like, oh, that's dinner, eat that. That's lunch, eat that. I don't get their breakfasts, but I have in previous ones. I'm just one of those lazy, useless shits that if a plan involves additional work and effort on my part, the odds are against it working. So, yes, I'm definitely not saying this frozen pre-packaged stuff is the best. I'm saying it works. There you go, Mr. Noxification. You can control, see, one meal and one snack. There's that theory about partial fasting, like if there's a large number of hours where you're not eating, that can be very effective at maintaining weight. So if it's light and easy, more expensive than the supermarket. If you buy and make your own food, I think light and easy is generally more expensive. But if you're a lazy shit like me and spend a lot of money on takeaway, light and easy is cheaper than getting takeaway all the time. Emperor, the world's on fucking fire. Hi, I saw, was it Bill Nye, the science guy, on the John Oliver show? That was pretty funny. Guy who taught kids for decades, just getting all the swears on. Pretty fun. That's the word I was looking for, Fox. Intermittent fasting. Yes. Safa, if you get good quality, fresh, unprocessed food from the supermarket, I think by most objective measures, it would be healthier than the light and easy stuff. But the light and easy stuff is good quality. It's portion controlled and calorie controlled. And most of it is really good. And that's the other weird thing, because there's quite a big variety in their meals, their prepackaged meals. When I'm on light and easy, I have a more diverse diet than if I was left to my own devices. Because left to my own devices, I get a bit repetitive. Like, even if I'm eating healthier stuff, like veggie-based stuff, I will tend to have the same thing a couple times in a week. Whereas if I'm doing light and easy. It's a different lunch every day and a different dinner every night. So that is another advantage to me. It's not going to be an advantage to everyone, but it is an advantage to me to have the light and easy stuff. This actually, look, if you average 1800 cal, that's super stable. That's a super stable amount to eat. For the vast majority of people, you're not going to put on weight if you consume like a regular 1800 calories a day. The heretic, you eat meal replacement bars because it makes me feel like I'm living in the future. I was like those tech bros who just repackaged diet shakes for dudes and called it Soylent, living in the future, but actually directly referencing a dystopian future where the processed food meal replacement is actually made of people. Soylent Green is people. That was weird marketing. That was very weird. Man, they used to make bleak fucking sci-fi in the 70s. And Charlton Heston was in all the bleak ones. Soylent Green, which ended on that big downer. Planet of the Apes, which ended on the downer of the ape planet being Earth. And what was another one? Omega Man. We were talking about that on Tuesday's live stream. Omega Man was a version of the story I Am Legend, which of course was made more recently with Will Smith in the lead role, and the movie was actually called I Am Legend. Tendo, you think we should do a test on what's actually in Soylent in case they were hiding it right in front of it? Mark, bodybuilding. I am okay at the moment. My shoulders are so fucked. Weightlifting is just not thing. I'm going to the physio every second week. My shoulders and occasionally my knees are so fucked that weightlifting would be terrible. But even when I was younger, I remember I was hanging out with someone who was into bodybuilding, had his whole home gym, weight set, and he's trying to get me to do it. And I don't know, even when I've been relatively fit, like in my 20s, lifting weights, I just can't do. And even and lifting my own like chin-ups, I could never do chin-ups. I don't, yeah. And obviously, if you did the weights religiously and kept doing it, you're gonna get stronger and you're gonna get bigger and whatnot. But just never been able. Oh, dude, my natural build is really stocky. So if I got seriously into weights, I'd be weird and stumpy. I mean, I'm weird and stumpy as it is, because I've been at much lower weights than I am now, and my legs in particular stay really chunky. Clapping for chlamydia. Hello to you in South Korea. We were just talking about the Koreas, and are you going to war? Bet you love it that people want to say that all the time. So for your skinny build, I'm Scottish Highlander stocky, 5'8" and quite sort of broad across the shoulders and with big chunky legs. Like I said, even when I've been fit, even when I've been skinnier, not so my legs, I have huge thighs, absolutely huge thighs. Yes, I reckon, I don't know, me and bodybuilding just doesn't sound appealing, quite honestly. Your heritage is broad shoulders and obsession with potato. I like it. I get that, Clever. Yeah. Your friends abroad, when they hear anything, flip their shit. Yeah, hopefully. Aussie Brick Chick, hello. In for the last half hour. Mark, when was the skinniest? In my early 20s, and that's because I was unemployed. It was like when I was a kid, I was a little bit chubby. I was a little bit self-conscious. I was not really fat, but I was a little bit chubby. And again, I had these huge thighs. And I was a little bit self-conscious at school. And then I went off to college by myself. and then moved to Sydney and was unemployed. So after about, well, certainly after a couple of years, but ultimately it was like at least 4 or 5 years of fending for myself with not much income, on student support or unemployment support until I got a proper job. I lost a lot of weight. Like my sister told me she thought I was on drugs because I was so much thinner. And I was like, no, I'm on poverty. That's my weight loss plan. And in all seriousness, my I never weighed myself at the time, but I reckon I was about 70 kilos. Probably as an adult, the skinniest I ever was. I was probably about 70 kilos, which even then I think is in the high range for my height. But those things are just averages and they're bullshit. You don't want to, I can take them forever. But like I said, because I'm stocky. But I reckon I got down to, not that I weighed myself, but I think I probably got down to about 70 kilos. But yeah, I mean, like when I got down to 90 for my height, that's supposedly significant overweight, and it is a bit overweight, but I don't think I look at 90 kilos. I don't think I look really overweight, but yeah, those height weight things are flawed. Oh, Charlie, cycling's good up until the point a car hits you. I get worried about that. One of my all-time guaranteed weight loss plans that I've had, extreme poverty, certainly is like about a 5-year period where I had no spare money. I definitely lost weight because I couldn't afford to put any weight on. So extreme poverty is good for weight loss. Extreme illness, if you get really sick, like something in the stomach, so you can't hold anything down. Like, and I've had this once or twice in my life where it's you basically realize, like, if it takes like a week to go away and you spend the first 2 days of this illness vomiting and diarrhea, so you basically lose anything you've taken in the last day or two. Then you can't hold anything down for a week. So you basically hardly any calories for a week. You can lose a fuck ton of weight. Like, it's very, yes, I agree with you, Musical Aviator. Extreme poverty might do weight loss, bad for mental health. Yes, probably bad for overall health too. Same as being really sick is not recommended. But you do lose weight. And extreme stress, that's another one. I had this, oh, okay, I'm sure I've told this story before, but many, many, many years ago in my 20s, I ended up working for these really shifty guys who were running a thing they called the Miss Nude Australia Quest. It was like a nude beauty pageant. It was going to be running in strip clubs or licensed venues. And I ended up working on this thing, and I got sent up to Queensland on the Sunshine Coast for the Queensland thing set up. And the guy running this place was like a Joe Bjorky-Peterson era grifter. And it was so stressful. And so for a period of about 2 weeks, I think in a 2-week period, I only had 3 full meals. And to get some sort of calories in my system, there was a McDonald's just near this hotel where the event was going to be on. I forced myself to have a thick shake in the morning just to like have calories to burn. But in a 2-week period, I think I only ate 3 full meals and I lost quite a bit of weight. They're creepy. The guy who was behind it originally ran a suburban strip club in Sydney. Like, I think it was in Cogra. And I think, again, speaking in stereotypes, because and this is true, this is not a stereotype, but he like fit the stereotype. He was of Italian descent and he was mob connected. And this was a guy who would have business meetings with a baseball bat on his desk. Like, you told her, like, because this club actually, quality and all that. They had male strippers some nights. It was mostly female strippers, but they had a ladies' night where they had male strippers. And he had a problem with the guy who ran the male strippers, and he suggested us who were working in the office that we leave for an hour or two because he's having a business meeting to sort things out. And he just put this baseball bat on his desk. We're going, holy fuck. And when this finished, I ended up not being paid for the last couple of weeks. And so I was desperate. So I wanted to go back on the dole, but there was a thing with the dole. If you quit a job, you couldn't get any payments for 6 or 8 weeks. But if you were fired, you could go straight on it. And I'm in the dole office saying, I need the payments. And they're going, oh, you need something that says you're fired. And I was kind of like, oh, the employment wasn't even really that proper. And I said, but honestly, I'm not going back there. And I said, and I just basically told him, this is this mob connected guy. And I know he's got a gun in the office and I know he's got a baseball bat. I said, ring him up and he'll probably just shout all sorts of abuse at me because some things went wrong and he was angry at everyone, even though I was only really junior. And yeah, but the dole office was saying, go there and get a letter saying you were fired. And I was going, no, fuck, this dude. I'm not joking. This guy has anger problems. He's mob connected. And I know he has a baseball bat and a gun in the office and I'm not going there. I said, ring him. I said, this is the place. And, it was, tits and butt in Cogra. I even forget what it was actually called. And I said, just call them and mention my name and he'll probably shout abuse down the phone. And that should sort of let you know that I was fired, hopefully. And they did actually sign me on. But yeah, no, this dude was super weird. That was quite a weird experience because I was working out of the strip club for a month or two, and then I was up in Queensland for a couple of weeks, and the whole thing was fucking Jesus. It was just weird. Oh my god! And this was the thing that happened when my earlier days in Melbourne, and by this I mean about 20 years ago, I got sort of connected by a person to we're trying to do this thing with the people who run the pawnbrokers, the second-hand stuff, because we were being stolen, and through them we ended up connected to this mob guy that were talking about getting him to finance things. Mark, what was my job title? I think it was like office shit kicker. But they fucking sent me to be in charge. I was literally the lowest ranked person in the office, and they sent me up to Queensland to front the whole thing because they couldn't spare anyone else. And I was going like, oh, you fucking wankers. But anyway. But yeah, I remember having this conversation. Someone thought, they had this deal. Some stockbroker guys said there was this deal on this foreign exchange thing we needed to get in. And if you got money, you get. And so we talked to, and he was this mob guy. He was unashamedly a mob guy. And he was great and he was spooky. But I wasn't on his wrong side, so that's okay. And we're having this conversation, and like the accountant explained, oh, this is the deal offered, and the mob guy listened to it and he goes, it's a scam. No, I've seen this one before. Yeah, no, it's a scam. And then he just has this conversation. Yeah, it's a thing like this a few years ago. This bloke said it was legit. Got me, a few of my friends' money in. Yeah, and it was a scam. Took the money. And then there's like this 5-second pause that, it's a scam. He took the money. 5 seconds later, yeah, he took the money. He's dead now. Fucking hell. Just the way he said it. It was like deadpan, like he didn't care. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't boasting. He wasn't threatening. He was just like, yeah, there's this other thing where a guy scammed me and took money. He's dead now. And just, fuck. Okay. Fucking hell. Mark, no, it wasn't one of the dodgy employment agents. It was actually a friend of mine. And I don't know how he got in contact with these guys. I know he answered an ad this is in the olden days where jobs were advertised in the newspaper. And it said something about working on a video production project. and it was a thing he wanted to work on, and he wasn't able to work on it, but he talked to them and found out what it was. And he's like, I'm not free and I can't work it. I know something, because I was unemployed. And he's like, I know someone who might though. And he called me up and he's going, hey dude, like, I got the job, it's a video production company. And I said, hey, I'm always interested. And he's gone, okay, look, don't take this, don't freak out or anything. But the project's called the Miss Nude Australia Quest. And I was like, okay. This guy got me involved in so many dodgy jobs. For the best part of a year, we were working on a trade publication for clubs and pubs and hotels, motels, and all it was a scam to sell advertising space. And the magazine was distributed in trade. But what we liked about it was that there had to be filler. Like, okay, people are only going to buy ads if there are articles in it. And we both wanted to be writers. So we were just writing all the stories to go with. We were writing stories about the clubs and whatnot. So we enjoyed, we were being pretend journalists, just writing all these stories, while the dodgy sales guy was convincing everyone to buy ads in it. And that was for the best part of a year I worked on that. And then a bit after, the same guy who got me in there got me into the fucking Miss Nude Australia quest. Oh yeah, Fox, I didn't know that, even knowing it was the Miss Nude Australia quest was running at a suburban strip club, I didn't know it was mob related till I met the guy who was running it. It's like, oh, okay, you seriously look like an extra from The Godfather. Okay, cool. And it was just one of those weird things, like nothing bad ever happened to me, but there was always this kind of fucking threat hanging over everything. Like, because the guy would get really moody and really angry, and he only ever got really angry at the higher ups. He never got angry at me, but there was always this fucking layer of threat on everything. Like, okay, and yeah, and again, he made it no secret that he had these fucking connections and he'd fuck you up. But my favorite was definitely this guy that, through an accountant and these secondhand pawnbroker dealer guys, Money Man, who was so mob, and just talking about the person who ripped him off. Yeah, he's dead now. AZ actually does a really good impression of that sort of person. It's just so, because he even said, like, he was like running drugs between Sydney and Melbourne, and he was just being really conversational with me. Yeah, got problems too, shit went wrong. Bloke got to Sydney, cops got him, and I went like, we had this conversation about his drug runs getting intercepted by the cops. And I was like, not wanting to cause trouble, but that means you've got a rat in the ranks, don't you? The cops didn't accidentally intercept your drug run. Someone told them about it. Yeah, I'll wind them. It's just like, oh God, please stop talking. Don't tell me you're going to kill another person, please. Don't. Oh, geez, no, Mark. Oh, fuck, those job agencies are fucked as, man. And you're right. The more vulnerable people, like people are supposedly placing people with disabilities, and they always put them in vulnerable situations. Those job agencies are a fucking scam. They need to be gotten rid of. Like, need to go right back to when it was two separate government entities. One that just administered benefit payments was called Department of Social Security back in the day. And then the CES, the Commonwealth Employment Service, an agency designed to do nothing but find you a job. They don't judge you, they just help you get a job. Last time I was actually signed up with the government, the DSS and the CES were actually still separate. But that fucking job placement thing is fucking scam. Absolute fucking scam. They're just criminals. Yeah, Peoria. X, Mook? Who says I'm X? So when did the CES stop? Somewhere in the deep, dark past, man. Because I'm old, so it was a very long time ago. I mean, again, why governments and the Conservatives are worse than Labor, but Labor can't hold their head up. The fucking war on the most vulnerable people, like calling people on disability support a burden, treating people on unemployment and sickness benefits like they're the fucking enemy, pensioners, you know, the enemy. Whereas these fucking companies that are scamming the country out of billions and billions of dollars in taxes they're not paying, they're fucking champion. No, this class warfare bullshit is there. Oh, there you go. RC, the CES went out in 96. That's how old I am, because I was actually with them prior to 96. Because I'm old. Oh, yeah, Biori. No one's saying I'm not the head of a secret crime family working to whack Trump, but no one's not saying it either. So, you know, could be one of the others. I tell you what, this is one of the funniest things. AZ was so fucking deep. I mean, if anyone who's a regular to the live streams will have heard AZ's crime and mob stories from his youth in Canberra. He was way more deeply into it than I ever have been. But I have spent a bit of time with sketchy people. And there's one thing I always laugh at, you know, in movies or TV shows. Anyone in a tight situation fucking talks too much. And that's like, whether it's with a scary crim type or a cop. If you're in a tight situation, if you're in a dangerous, potentially violent situation, don't say a fucking thing. You know, they'll tell you what they want to know. Don't say anything. Don't even lie. Don't know what. Just like, they'll fucking tell you what they want to hear, and they'll tell you when they want you to talk. But if you're ever in a trouble situation, the less you say, the better. Talking is just going to get you in trouble. Charlie Yates not only has the best stories, he loves telling them. He loves being a storyteller, because for those who don't know, in the 90s, AD had quite a successful stand-up career before his various infirmities made continuing the rather punishing live stand-up scene impossible. But he had quite a successful career as a stand-up comedian, and he was writing comedy for a few TV shows as well. But he was the storyteller style thing. He just loves telling stories. Like, he's not a one-liner comic. He stories and bring people, and his jokes were all about the language and bringing the audience into the story and making them feel like they're part of it. So he's always loved telling stories, and he's been telling stories for decades, so he's very good at it. We keep talking about doing a podcast, and I've said, if we do, we've got to have some rules, like, namely, if you start with a discursive story, I've got to put a 60-second time limit on you, because if I don't, he can talk 15 minutes without taking a breath. And you know, you get off topic and you'll go off and you'll just keep going and going. And so if you start on a discursive story, you're gonna have to impose a 60-second time limit, and they'll cut you off. So for now, AZ's not feeling okay. AZ, he's out of hospital at least. He had a long stay in hospital. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks. He's out of hospital. And when I last talked to him earlier this week, he said he thought it would take a week or so for him to feel a bit level, and then we can start working on some stuff again. So yeah. Jim, Lefty Brains Trust. Yeah, look, dude, you can ask any question without prejudice. I'll always give, because someone who's genuinely wanting to have a discussion, even if their views or starting point is the opposite of mine, I'll always have a discussion. It's just that people who betray themselves to be talking in bad faith that I won't waste time. Oh, Jim, that's actually a good question. Back in my day, and that was my day too, people would talk about transvestites and transvestitism, and it's totally different to transsexualism. What's the go? That, and look, I'll also throw drag into the mix because they're all different things. And back in my day, and I'll say my day was 80s, 90s, right? We didn't even use the term transgender. I think transsexual was used. We didn't use the term transgender. And the basic difference between, and look, again, other people might have different interpretations of this, and I'm certainly open to discussion, but the basic difference between transvestite and transsexual or transgender is transvestite was a guy who likes dressing up as a woman, and transsexual or transgender is a person who, while being assigned a gender, either male or female at birth, comes to realize that isn't who they are, and they transition to live as the opposite gender, in some cases with the aid of surgery. So that's the basic difference. And again, the term transvestite is not a popular term now. And the difference between, and this is particularly back in the 80s, the difference between transvestite and drag is drag was a performative thing, like literally a drag queen if you put on a show, you were a drag queen. But if you just liked, from either a lifestyle or a sexual point of view, being a man dressing up in woman's clothes, that was called transvestite. But if you're actually going to transition from male to female, that was called transsexual. Now, of course, we recognize transgender people, both male and female. So, oh yeah, Shirazi, tranny is an insult. It's a pejorative term. But again, much like various pejorative terms, within certain communities, they may call each other trannies, as same as people within racial or religious groups might use epithets for each other, but it's frowned upon if you're outside of that group using it. So, oh yeah, Jim, and you're absolutely right. A lot of drag artists are straight men. Drag artists were predominantly gay men, but not exclusively. But again, drag was performance. Again, men who were called transvestites liked dressing up in women's clothes, but didn't consider themselves to be women. Then we used to say transsexual. Nowadays we say transgender, is people who are assigned one gender at birth, come to realize that isn't who they are, and they transition. Not always with surgery, but yes. But yeah, you generally, while tranny was used all the time in my youth, and it has always been a fairly negative word, but saying it now it's a super negative word. Yes. Mark, have I heard of this idiot Serpensa? I don't think I have. There are too many idiots in this world, my friend. I cannot keep up with them. And I think we've just got time for you to tell me who Spencer is, because it's 10 o'clock. And it's school night, as in it's work night. I've got to go to work tomorrow. Been a working man. Oh, you know him too, Miss Foxification. A South African expat lives in China and hangs shit on China. Wow. What a shithead. Yeah, Fox, there's still big-time drag performances all over the place. Ha! Sorry, Shiraz. Yes, we can talk about trannies when talking about cars, and then we're talking about transmissions. Jim, you're right. Intent counts for a lot. And I would try to give people the benefit of the doubt if they use an abusive word and you pull them up and they go, I'm really sorry, that wasn't intended to be abusive. I didn't realize that would be taken as abusive. I didn't intend to abuse anyone. But someone who deliberately uses an abusive term and then says, get over it, like, fuck those people. People who use abusive terms with the intent to abuse can fuck off. But thank you one and all for joining me. It has, as always, been a wonderful time spending time with you. We'll see if I can get organized to do a video tomorrow night, because I didn't do one last night. I'll try and do an end of week, maybe just my pre-election video tomorrow, maybe. And of course, the live stream on Saturday night for the election. I'm going to get shit-faced. I'm going to be so shit-faced by the end of that. I hope I don't get sick. That would be embarrassing. I try to, honestly, these days, you know, because I like cocktails. I like making myself cocktails, like on Friday or Saturday night. I try not to have more than 2 or 3, because that's enough to be drunk, but, you know, not to be falling over and not to be sick and not to have a hangover the next day. But who knows what's going to happen in the election? It's a bit of a one-off. They don't happen very often. So we'll see what happens. Yes, Democracy Sausage Saturday. I'm gaming free. You haven't been in for a while. Thanks for dropping by just in time as I say good night. And thank you, Miss Foxification, for reminding people to do a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope to see you soon one way or the other, either with a pre-recorded video or live stream on Saturday. But take care of yourself, one and all. I hope you have a good couple of days till I see you again. And I will say bye for now.